Hey, everybody, this is Fitz Stadler, and you're listening to the Walk Off podcast with Scott and Adam.
So thrilled to be joined by today's guest, pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. His season with the AA New Hampshire Fisher Cats well underway. Fitz Stadler, welcome to the Walk Off, man. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. You guys are great.
Well, buddy, we're excited to talk some baseball with you here. I know you're an Illinois boy, correct?
Yes, yes,
So, did you spend your 2020 kind of minor league shutdown back home then?
yes. I spent in the Chicagoland area, mostly in like a northern suburb of Chicago, um, and to and from actually. My parents have a place in Long Beach, Indiana, and it was a kind of a getaway for me. I traveled quite a bit, but I had my time off, but also worked pretty hard.
It must have been interesting not having baseball last summer, eh? I'm sure it's been a while since you've had a summer like that.
Very interesting. A lot of golf.
A lot of golf. That's what
Yeah.
I've been hearing from a lot of the boys in the organization is that they're like, "Oh, we hit the links. We're better at golf now. That's for sure." How did you stay in shape and continue to train and stuff like that? Was it a little more difficult than you had anticipated?
It was very interesting. Very interesting at the beginning, especially. You kind of had to like find your way into your kind of like private gym, I should say, um, because there was just so many COVID restrictions, and you're doing everything on your own pretty much with like whatever you can find. Really, bands. I was throwing, I was throwing at a local like t-ball baseball field where I grew up down the street. I was throwing into a chain link fence with a couch cushion on
That is some
it.
baseball romance 101 there. That's
Yeah,
old school.
that's a Disney movie, man.
Yeah,
So, I know you were saying we were texting there. Your girl's flying in today, correct?
correct. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. How long have you guys been seeing each other?
Just just past 6 months.
Just past 6 months. So
Probably.
she hasn't gone through the rigor of the
Yeah,
baseball season yet, eh?
yeah. I think her first minor league game will be coming up here on well tomorrow. Yeah,
That's great, buddy. I know it's funny because both Adam and I are stand-up comics, right? And so like I'm touring all the time, or at least I'm tour. I used to tour when travel was a thing, but looks like it's starting again pretty quick here, hopefully.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I know it's funny because having like a supportive and understanding person with you while you're pursuing something like comedy or baseball is
Right.
it mentally soothing almost, like having someone who's got your back and supportive and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
What has your experience been with relationships as you kind of pursue professional baseball?
Um, in the past, I haven't really done the long distance relationship, but I mean, this is uh, this is one where we both agree on a lot of things, and there's definitely some competitiveness between the two of us. Um,
Awesome.
she used to play soccer in high school. She's a little athlete, but I mean, it's definitely nice to backtrack to someone that cares about like what you're doing every day.
For
Um,
sure.
Obviously, it's nice to have family every day after the field. Um, you kind of have to spill out what you have been feeling because sometimes when you're at the field, you can't really express all your feelings. Um, there's definitely a lot of ears that can pick up on what's going on.
Totally.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, eh? Like because and I know my girl always, I mean, she's used to it now, but when we first started dating would give me shit before shows because for whatever reason, man, 2 3 hours before a show, you can't talk to me. Like you can talk to me, but I'm not intaking anything and I'm putting nothing into a conversation, right? Like my brain gets in comedy mode. And I'm sure it's
Yeah,
similar for you, right? And like to have someone who's like, okay, this isn't me personally.
yeah, no,
He's doing
yeah,
his thing. Yeah.
yeah. She definitely understands. She knows that I'm trying to do my thing, and it takes some time. Obviously, I'm at the field for I don't know, like 8 hours a day or something like
Right.
that.
It's a job.
Right. Uh, and I'm not one of the people to always have my phone out really. I mean, I try not to. Uh, I try not to be on social media, but I find myself on it quite a bit.
Yeah,
Stuck in it.
we all
Um,
do. We all have that problem, Fitz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I've been trying to get past the phone, just keep playing baseball. I'm so happy to be out here and playing again. You guys have, I guess you guys do have an idea.
Well, I can imagine though, man. Like
Yeah.
just putting that uniform back on and having some sense of normality would be
Yeah,
very, very refreshing, I'm sure. And this Fisher Cats team too, dude. It has been touted by
yeah,
baseball pundits and analysts as like one of the best teams in minor league baseball, right? And you've played pro ball for a few years now. You've gone through the rigors. How does this team stack up with others that you've played on? And what is the vibe around the clubhouse right now?
I will say, I think it was the other day. I think I went in and it was like maybe 5-2 or something, and I think I gave up a 3 spot,
Yeah.
and I went it back in the dugout, and I was like very frustrated with myself, but trying to keep things to myself, whatever. And then I was like, oh my gosh, look at the team that we have. Like this offense is so explosive and so fun to watch. And what do? We go out there and we do a walk off like the next inning.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That is so great, eh? To like know you're on a team where you can make a mistake or two and that your teammates got your back, right? They'll make that up for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
With so much talent on the field, and you just touched on it, and some of the top prospects in the Blue Jays organization in the starting rotation, it's funny how the bullpen is a bit of a forgotten weapon on that Fisher Cats team, but there's some big arms back there. Guys like James Dykstra, Brody Rudning, and yourself, right? And there's a real chance to shorten games, put a little bit less pressure on the starting pitching. How are you feeling about this pen? And what's the dynamic like? I know pitchers love to kind of, talk and share information. Is there a lot of that going on?
Yeah, we constantly have a chart going on the other hitters. We like to see if they're attacking us, if they're swinging first pitch. Um, but we have a good sense of humor down there. Everybody's kind of darting into each other, kind of like trying to uh, lighten the mood, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's fun, man. I think we got a solid crew down there. Um, I think our habit is playing. You guys know the game Password, where you give one word hints and you have a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we've been playing a little bit of that, but definitely, definitely a good squad down there to have when you're waiting around, not having anything to do, stretching out, whatever it is.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because it does feel like a fun bunch. Like we talked with James Dykstra recently on the show, and he was talking about how good he thinks this Fisher Cats bullpen could be. And he mentioned you as a guy who could wind up being a high leverage guy, right? A guy who could have a really big season. And he called you Stads, the 7-foot monster. I don't know if he calls you that to your face or if I'm just tattling on him here. But and it's funny for those listening right now who don't know, Fitz here is 6'9". Have you ever been not the tallest man on the team?
I don't think that's happened yet, but
No.
I do know people. I do know friends of mine that also play baseball. Both of my older brothers, they played for Indiana University, and they played with a guy that's like 6'11", maybe
Ooh,
7 feet. He plays for the Angels now. His name is Aaron Slagers.
Slagers. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's basketball height, man.
I think he's like 7 feet, 7'1", because I like look up at him, and it's very weird to me.
That
So
would
Yeah,
be
I'm
so
sure. You could
odd.
probably count on one hand how many times you need to look up. Yeah. I'm sure being 6'9" as a pitcher has huge advantages to it, and I'm sure there's some disadvantages too. What are those advantages, and what do you need to concentrate on to minimize your disadvantages?
uh, I would say I would say I tend to try and throw like I'm a smaller person, if that makes any sense.
Tighter,
Uh,
compact.
right. I don't know if you watch like a guy like I'm not saying he's like a he is shorter than me, but like a guy like Marcus Stroman,
Right.
he throws so athletically and really moves well. And I would say I try and throw like I'm a smaller guy and I'm more compact, more on time. Um, but I mean, I've been working pretty hard this past off season with DJ Snelton and John Snelton. They're brothers back home, like back home in the Chicagoland area. Um, DJ's played for the Rays. He's played for the Giants. He's played for most recently the Cubs.
Nice.
But they've really helped me out recently. They've kind of brought the idea of that's throwing like a smaller guy or being a little bit more electric on the mound and having a little bit more effort throws
I
Yeah.
to
lo-
to gain some velocity.
I just have to say I love the confidence in the way you compared yourself to Strowman. Like
Oh,
you're not a taller version of him. He's a shorter version of you. That's just such a winner's attitude right there, and I just love
not
it. So
yeah. No, I like doing that comparison because it kind of shows where I'm trying to be
absolutely,
with my arm action.
Hmm.
I don't really know
no, of
in what
course.
other way, but
Well, it's
definitely
funny. Sorry, go ahead.
no. You go ahead.
I was
You're
just gonna say it's funny how baseball has become so velo driven here, and I did want to talk some pitching with you. What is the favorite pitch that you're throwing right now? I know a lot of guys just say the fastball, and if that's it, that's fine. And of your pitches in your repertoire, which one did you find took the longest to develop?
I would say just in my past, I would say the pitch that took has taken the longest to develop is the changeup. Um, I going back to high school. I don't want to open up the yearbook or anything, but I was a quarterback in high school.
Yeah,
Everything kind of seemed to come off of the index finger. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but using like these three out here, uh, definitely not as doesn't come as normal to me. Um, but like I'll throw a really good changeup every now and then.
yeah.
I'm mostly a fastball slider guy. As your answer to answer your question about which pitch is my favorite right now, I've been always trained to say whatever gets them out.
Right.
There you
Uh,
go.
I will say the heater has been pretty fun to
Yeah.
throw. I've definitely made some gains in the off season, um, but
How do
just
you
trying
go
to let
about making velo gains? Is it a weight training thing, or is it how you're throwing the ball? Like, is it all form?
I'd say it's a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um, Throwing on time, like I said earlier, maybe making some gains in the weight room, putting on a little bit of muscle size. A lot of people say mass is gas. Uh,
Right.
I try to look. I don't know. I like to look fit. I don't know about many other guys, but a lot of people just put down food. You got to put it down in the right places.
Right.
After like a long outing or something like that. Yesterday, I threw almost it was I think it was 1.2, so like it was kind of a lot of work for me. So I ate a lot of food after that. Um, but my trainer in the off season, John Snelton, he said to try and eat 6,000 calories a day when I was lifting.
Holy.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, it
lot.
was kind of
Wow.
like just lifting every day and a lot of strain on the body, a lot of recovery had to go on. Just said to eat everything in sight.
Did you find that your velo ticked up a little bit? I know that you were a starter a couple years ago, and the Jays have more recently moved you into a relief role. Have you seen an uptick in your velo since doing that? And are you enjoying the bullpen? And was that transition easy for you or difficult? What was that like?
I enjoy the bullpen. I feel like I've kind of always been a hybrid type of guy. I could either do either or. In my first year with the Canadians and in Bluefield, I was doing more of a long relief role, and
Right.
then in 19, I was more of a piggyback starter, if you will. It was kind of like a either start the game and go five, or relieve and be first out of the pen and go four. Um, that was nice. That was definitely nice for me in 19, just because you get your 5 day rotation down. You know exactly what you're doing every day. Definitely throwing a little bit more innings, but I would say it was so much more routine like.
Hmm.
And now back in the pen, it brings back those bullpen butterflies when they're calling down to the bullpen. It's awesome. I mean, I
Yeah.
love that feeling. Um, but it's just kind of like the heat of the moment thing. Uh, but no, I like being down there. Like I said, we got a great group of guys, good sense of humor down there. Um, but wait, what was the last question?
Just how difficult it was to kind of transition from.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I was saying like kind of like a hybrid guy. I mean,
Yeah.
just go out there and dominate. That's kind of like what I try to do. I mean, I don't really.
No, I love that mindset of like, put me wherever, like I'm ready.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
It's like a firefighter. You're just hanging out around the fire station. You're like, okay, well, alarms are going off. I guess we're going. We'll see what happens when we get there.
yeah.
So you have been a reliever, you've been a long man, a starter, you've got some experience in pro ball, you've played college. I'm curious, have you ever been called upon by your manager to deliver some old school retribution and maybe plunk a guy in the batting box? Have you ever been like specifically been like, all right, Fitz, this is your moment, go get him? You don't
No,
need to tell who or when, but
no. C's is our manager right now, and he's a pretty old school guy. He won't give you any of that stuff. But
yeah.
um, I think in Portland, Maine, we had like a benches clearing because like, oh my gosh, one of our pitchers threw like just like an errant fastball. It was just an errant fastball.
Right.
Nothing was on purpose or anything, and it went behind him, I guess. And he had gotten hit the day before, and he took like 5 or 6 steps out towards the mound and still had the bat in his hand. And it's like I was like, no, that's not happening. Um, but I mean,
Does running out of the bullpen feel as cool as it looks? Because it looks like the cavalry's coming in.
yeah, no, it's definitely fun. But you know, I'm more of a sense of humor guy.
Yeah,
I try to have fun out there. A lot of people are looking up to you when you're out there, and I just hate for some little guy's baseball mind to be ruined.
of course. So I know I've kind of drawn a couple comparisons here between comedy and baseball, but hecklers. Number one, I can't stand hecklers. And number two, for whatever reason, they just seem to be a thorn in the side of both comedians and ball players for like as long as the professions have existed, right? Uh,
Yeah,
have you ever had to deal with a super obnoxious heckler yelling at you, or even worse, someone yelling at you that's getting laughs from the crowd?
I've definitely had a couple, but like I said, like I'm kind of laughing about it as well.
Right.
I mean, sometimes like after like a rough outing and someone's still giving it to
Hmm.
you, it's kind of one of those like you're still on the other side of that fence. Like I guarantee you wouldn't be saying that with with you standing right next to me. So
It's like the
it's
real
kind of
life version of online comments, eh?
right. Right. It's like, oh, let me type
Yeah,
this,
that's right.
type that, and they know we can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
So.
of course. Of course. Have you ever seen someone get heckled that you were laughing pretty good that you're like, "Oh man, whoever's doing this is pretty funny?"
To me,
To you.
probably. Yeah. It's believe it or not, it's pretty funny to make fun of a dorky looking 6'9" pitcher.
That's great.
I love the sense of humor, man. So it's funny, struggling at the plate to start the season for a hitter or having a bad inning or two to start a year can be really mentally tough on a ball player because you need to look at the scoreboard and deal with the ugliness of those numbers, right? Like your average, your batting average, or your ERA is going to be all inflated. And I know you kind of fall into that category this year. You just kind of
Yes.
touched on it, right? That you got touched up the other day. You're 4 innings into the season and you have like a 24 ERA, right? How
Right.
do you mentally set that aside and just kind of go about your business the next day and kind of tell yourself, well, over the season, this is going to work out?
I've been talking often with our pitching coaches. I mean, there's no real way to say it. I mean, I like to say that's baseball.
Yeah.
That just happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It just stinks that
Because
it's
it does.
right, right, and it's just that I feel like it's the beginning of the season. It's still kind of like it was still kind of cold. It's definitely warming up now. Um, and it's my first time in Double A. Like
Yeah.
like everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Um, all
Absolutely.
all the other numbers look pretty good right now. Maybe just missing a couple locations every now and then, but
Just keeping
I'm
things in
pretty
perspective, I guess, eh?
yeah, I'm pretty calm about it. My dad has always instilled a positive mental attitude, so I always write PMA in my hat.
That's great.
So that's definitely something that's good to go back on.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah,
I know you just touched on that. This is your first time in Double A. Has there been anyone on this Fisher Cats team that has kind of made things easier on you, been supportive, kind of showing you the ropes a little bit?
yeah. I would say an older guy, John Harris. He's
Oh,
definitely
nice. Yeah.
he's definitely kind of like if you ask him a question about, hey, like where have you gotten food from or whatever it is, even it's baseball, he's like, hey, new day tomorrow.
Right.
Like nothing wrong with that. Um, he's definitely been a help. I mean, a lot of guys are a year or so older than me, so
Right.
I mean, they've been around for another year. Always they always got an ear for you. But there's also some younger guys. I know a lot of position guys are younger, but
Yeah.
I've been having fun with it though, man. A lot of supporters. Um, Most of this team wants to see you do well, and that's really good thing to have.
And it's kind of neat too that there's so much hype kind of around the team. Like you've got some eyes on you. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is awesome. To take the field with all those guys is fun. I'll tell you that.
So Fitz, we chatted with and we mentioned this already, James Dykstra last week, and we've had Brody Rudning on the show, and we had Blue Jays catcher for Dunedin, Zach Britton. I don't know if you've met Zach yet, but
Yeah,
very cool dude, nice guy, Missouri boy. Anyways, we played some Canadian trivia with the three of them. None of them did very well. All right. So we had 3 out of 6 right for Zach, 1 out of 6 for Brody, who's from Minnesota.
I
So
Basically
know,
Canada.
right? Right? He also speaks like a like kind of
I
Canadian
know,
voice.
I
Yeah.
know.
The
Yeah,
accent's
I
right
thought
there
he was
for
gonna
sure.
kill it. Like both Adam and
yeah.
I, when we were giving him questions, the only one Brody got right was a hockey question. It's just because he's a
Okay.
hockey nut, right? Like,
Yeah, he's definitely a hockey nut for sure.
and then Dykstra got 3 out of 6 as well. Curious if you mind if we test your
Oh,
Canadian trivia here. We know you played in Vancouver, so hopefully you got a little bit of an edge here.
I hope so. I hope.
All right, so let's see how you stack up against Zach, James, and Brody here. We'll do 6 questions. We're gonna start with hopefully an easy one, just kind of ease you in here. So the NHL team in Vancouver is the Vancouver what?
The Canucks.
Yes, nailed it. Start
Yeah.
strong. Look at this.
Hey, I got some history with you guys out there. I'm a Blackhawks fan.
Uh-oh.
I remember the Sedin twins.
Oh, man. Yeah, they were, frick, that Vancouver team. With the Sedins and Bertuzzi back in the day,
Oh yeah.
that was a good team. The current Prime Minister of Canada is who?
Oh man. Um, I'm gonna have to pass. I have no idea.
Okay. Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that.
You wouldn't have got that. That's fine. So you're 1 out of 2 right now. So the Toronto Blue Jays joined the MLB in 1977, playing outdoors at Exhibition Stadium. In 1989, they opened their new stadium that is currently called the Rogers Center. But when it was built, it was the first stadium in the league with a retractable roof on it. And because of that, it was called what?
Oh. Um, a convertible.
I'll give you a hint. Dome is at the end.
Oh, okay. I was gonna guess convertible. To kind of throw some humor at it, but
It is Sky Dome.
yeah.
There you go.
I've never been to Toronto, so.
Well, once you move on up here, buddy, like it's a fun city.
That's all I've heard. All I've heard.
So there are 2 Canadians currently in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Can you name one of them? One is a pitcher, and it's old school, but very, very recognizable name. The other one is an outfielder who played with the Montreal Expos and the Colorado Rockies.
Joe Carter.
Good guess, not Canadian. Larry Walker, Fergie
Oh,
Jenkins.
Okay. Fergie Jenkins. That's definitely a name that I know. That's definitely a name that I know.
Okay, so what province is Toronto in?
Oh my gosh.
Illinois touches it.
I know that British Columbia is on the west.
One of the Great Lakes is called after it.
Wait, what's that?
One of the Great Lakes is named after it.
There's sure.
You're gonna know this one. This one you will kick yourself. Ontario.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
There you go. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's definitely not any other of the Great Lakes names.
But here's the thing, Fitz. This is actually helping you out in the long run, because when you wind up in Toronto and everyone's like, "Man, Stadler knows his Canadiana," you'll be like, "Well."
Do one Sportsnet interview and refer to it as Sky Dome, and every fan will be on your side.
That's right. That's right.
Rogers, the sponsor, won't be so happy with you, but
Yeah.
the fans will be thrilled.
So it was named the Sky Dome before the Rogers Center.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's correct. Yeah. Okay, so last question. Canada is well known as producing some very funny comedic talent. Can you name any of them actors or comedy? What?
You.
Oh, he's got us on a technicality. He's got us on a technicality.
Who's Canadian? I would say pretty much almost every single Canadian baseball player that I've met is a comedian. But I couldn't tell you.
That is fine. We would have accepted Jim Carrey, Norm Macdonald. There's lots of them out there.
Canadian?
Yeah, Jim Carrey's Canadian.
What a
buddy.
funny dude. I I grew up watching a lot of his stuff. He is a very silly comedian,
Yes, he is.
but then again, that is kind of some of my immature humor at times.
Okay, Fitz, this is where we're at right now. So we're going to go to a little segment here called Foul Territory, and Adam's going to take over, and he's going to ask you some questions that maybe aren't quite as baseball focused.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So first one's really easy. Obviously, you're from Chicago. Wrigley Field is amazing. One of the top 5 fields in all of baseball. The Jays are currently, I guess, in talks or in discussions about building a new ballpark. I mean, I don't want to say anything that's going to get you in trouble. I know, let's just all agree that the Jays Rogers Center is also a great stadium, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Wink, wink. In a new
If you like
stadium,
cement bunkers. No.
if you like generic cement bunkers with a retractable roof, hey. In a new stadium that could be built in Toronto, what is an interesting characteristic that maybe you've seen at another ballpark that you would like to see in a new stadium in Toronto? Like, just off the top of my head, for example, it's a very symmetrical, curved outfield wall at Rogers Center, which for me is
Yeah.
just super boring. I would love to see
Okay.
some corners and some weird angles out there,
Right.
just
Right.
as a
Like a
starting
little
point.
triple corner or something.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? So
Um,
what's something that you would love to see in a new stadium?
Honestly, I'll this is like kind of off topic, but I'll say some very high shower heads
Yes.
locker
We'll
room.
we'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would say I'm a fan of like the little tricky outfield corners and whatnot. I love the classic look at Wrigley Field
Right.
with the ivy. Um, but you know that's kind of like I feel like every single stadium like goes their own way.
We'll get
If you
some
will.
maple on the wall out in Toronto.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, maybe like some sort of hmm. Wow, that's definitely interesting. Well, you were talking about the retractable roof and everything. I believe that Soldier Field. I don't know if you guys know like the NFL that well, but like I think Soldier Field should have definitely been indoors. Um, that was built like recently in like 2008, maybe.
Yeah.
You know. But I would like to see it be indoors or outdoors. Um, and then another part,
So indoors or
probably.
outdoors, but not both.
Oh, definitely just not outdoors.
Oh,
Just not
okay.
Yeah, right.
outdoors.
Just yeah,
Yeah,
you're like,
Just
let
indoors.
the roof open, but
yeah,
want the option for
Okay.
indoors.
yes.
Those April
I've been
games
to-
in Toronto.
right, and I've been to like some D-backs games in Phoenix. Those games are fun and like pretty cool in there in the summer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, but like as opposed to like outfield fences or
Like
maybe
how about
something in the outfield to make what's the pointy thing called? Is the Space Needle
Yeah, right. In
Oh, yeah.
Seattle,
in
yeah.
Toronto?
Oh,
Yeah.
and the
Maybe
CNN tower, the CN tower, yeah.
yeah, maybe some sort of thing to make that kind of like stand out a little bit more.
okay?
Um, I know that many cities try to, you know, make things pop like that.
Yeah,
Right, like in
highlight
St.
their
Louis there,
Right,
big
exactly.
archway.
Exactly.
All
I
right,
love you
well,
ask Adam, you asked the 6'9" guy what he would do, and he's like, I want higher shower heads. Can we make the doorways
Yeah.
6'11"? I want
Ding, 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 ding.
all right, no, that's great. And as a pitcher, I want really far outfield walls, please.
Yeah.
Big, tall, far away outfield walls. Okay.
Maybe put a big bottle of Canadian maple syrup in center field.
I love it. Sounds good. Canadian
Yeah,
maple
I love
syrup
it.
and some Canada Dry out in
Yeah.
center field. All right. So, what is the fastest animal that you could beat in a foot race?
Oh. I would like to say that I'm a little faster than people may think. My college coach used to call me Avatar.
I just
Nice.
watched that last night with my kid.
Yeah. Um, it's pretty funny.
Avatar.
Your little blue avatar is just Marcus Stroman.
Well, I don't think I could outrun like. I mean, I might be able to outrun like a slow dog. I
Slow dog.
mean, I'm not outrunning a horse. I'm not outrunning a zebra, tiger, lion.
All right.
Uh,
Old three-legged pug, and you got it
yeah,
though, hey? All right,
yeah.
sounds good. The last question here for you. You mentioned you're in a relationship. What do you think your girlfriend would say is your most annoying personality trait?
Oh man. Um,
You only get to pick one, okay?
hmm.
I'm too handsome sometimes. That one doesn't count either, okay?
Probably just sitting or like just sitting there and just not talking. I can't multitask. It just doesn't work. There's something about it for me that just doesn't happen.
Hence you trying to stay off your phone a bit, eh?
Yeah, I mean the with the long distance thing, there's a lot of FaceTime,
Mm.
Right.
which I'm not going to complain about. It's definitely a great thing to have.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say, like, I don't know, I'll be lost on my phone or something, and she'll ask me a question. Definitely get annoyed about it.
Are you listening to me? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
great.
so
Thanks so
Fitz,
much.
we're gonna end the interview here with some listener questions. Are you good on time? Do you have a few more minutes here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
Okay.
for it.
Perfect. So this first question is from Jennifer out of Vancouver, and she says, "Hey Fitz, so cool you're doing the show. I'm a big Vancouver Canadians fan and follow the team religiously. I actually saw you play back in 2018. What was your Vancouver experience like? Did you enjoy the city?"
I could not say a bad thing about that city.
Nice.
I I loved everything about it. Some very very awesome host parents or host mom I had there. Jen West, she took care of me. Um, I still to this day I trade. I need to send her another one. I need a good reminder. But I send her Lou Malnati's pizza, like the frozen pizzas, the thick the
Yeah.
deep dish. I send her those, and she sends me Canadian maple syrup for my pancakes.
Awesome. I
That's
love
So
that.
great.
good little trade off. But I thought the mountains were beautiful. I went up to Whistler even.
Nice.
I thought the mountains were beautiful. Golf was awesome. Um, the the sushi was great. Um,
Nat
what just
Bailey Stadium's a nice little stadium too, eh?
yeah, the weather was awesome. It was a sellout at the Nat like pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Literally not a bad word to be said about that city.
Speaking of sushi in Vancouver, did you know that the California roll was invented in Vancouver?
Oh really?
Yeah.
Dang, why
Now
would
you
they
know.
call it California?
I don't
Maybe a
know.
bunch of California people were eating it.
You know what? I feel like that's true, but now as I say it, I'm less confident in that actually being a fact, and I'm regretting saying it. I should have looked that up.
You
But
should
I'm
have just
pretty sure
stayed
that's true.
confident, Adam. No one was
I know.
questioning you.
Anyways, people are going to roast me in the comments. You idiot! That's all right.
So your next question is from Daniel in Lethbridge, Alberta. So that's the province right above Montana. He
Okay.
says, "Hey man, wondering what your routine looks like day to day. Now that you're in the bullpen, what does your preparation look like?"
My preparation for each day usually starts with like foam rolling, um, doing some mobility, some stretching, and depending on the day, let's say it's the day that I'm throwing in the game, I probably won't get a lift in. I probably won't get much running in prior to the game.
I'm the
Um,
same way on game day too. I don't
yeah.
I don't exercise at all when there's a Jays game on.
But if it's like a day after, I'll definitely get in there and get a hard lift in, get a nice body flush.
Nice.
Um, and into certain specific areas, mostly legs. Um, I try to go light on the upper body, uh, just because I'm in season, want to stay explosive. Uh, do things with speed and intent. Um, but definitely, like in between my game days, I'll definitely get a lift in. But on game days, I will not.
All right. The last listener question here is from Alea in Toronto, and she says, "Hey Fitzpatrick, so you're giving your full name's getting some use here." She
Yeah,
says she
awesome.
says she says, "Hey Fitzpatrick, curious what your favorite meal is that you can only get on the road. Is there a restaurant or an opponent's park or a city you play in that you look forward to for the eats?"
Uh, gonna have to kind of brush my shoulders off. I would definitely say Chicago food is the best food.
Nice. Yeah, you're
Um,
you're
I
like
don't
when I
know.
get to go home.
Yeah, I, definitely eating my mom's homemade food and eating Chicago home style food is there's nothing like it. Going to Portillo's and getting an Italian beef or something, you can't beat it. And uh, definitely pizza. Pizza is like probably my most beloved thing. So
Honestly, Fitz, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. We really
yeah.
Yes, thank you.
appreciate it, and all the best in the season, man. Hopefully, we can do this again.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for making the time. You guys are very funny. Like I said, have a great day. You guys took the time to come in early too.
Yeah, we
So
did.
have a great moment.
Awesome. Right on, Fitz. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you so much.